What if I told you that life isn't working against you, but rather simply reflecting the story you've been telling yourself? Imagine, just for a moment, that life has no choice but to deliver exactly what you assume to be true. It's not about hoping for change, it's about stepping into the version of yourself who already has what you want, and watching life rearrange itself around you. Most of us spend our days chasing, striving, and waiting for something outside of us to change. But what if the key to everything you've wanted was inside you all along? What if, instead of struggling, you could simply live as though your desires are already fulfilled, and let life follow suit? The truth is, when you act as if, life can't help but deliver. The world doesn't test you, it responds to the assumptions you carry within. You don't need to wait for circumstances to shift. You don't need to wait for the perfect moment. By shifting your inner state, you can set in motion a chain reaction that transforms everything around you. So, how do you make this work? How do you act as if, and truly change your reality? Stick with me, because I'm about to show you exactly how. Have you ever noticed how life seems to mirror what you believe, almost like it's reading your mind? It's not just a coincidence. What you think, feel, and assume to be true on the inside directly shapes your external world. You might think life is a series of random events or just a reaction to your actions, but the truth is, life doesn't work that way. Life responds to the inner assumptions you hold about yourself and the world around you. If you assume that opportunities are scarce, life will make sure that's your experience. If you assume that success is just out of reach, life will deliver that sense of struggle right back to you. On the flip side, if you carry the assumption that the world is full of opportunities, support, and abundance, life can't help but reflect that back. It's not about wishing for things to change or working harder to make things happen. It's about aligning yourself with the belief that what you want is already yours. The truth is, life doesn't judge or test you. It doesn't evaluate your worth or delay things just to see how much you can handle. It simply responds to the energy you project, the assumptions you've made, and the identity you've chosen to embrace. If you feel unworthy, life will reflect that. If you feel powerful, it will reflect that too. It's not a matter of what you think you deserve, it's about what you assume to be true in your deepest self. For many, this is a hard truth to grasp because we've been conditioned to wait for the outside world to change first. We say, "I'll believe it when I see it," but that's the wrong way around. Life operates in reverse. You must believe it first, and then you will see it. When you truly understand this, everything changes. You stop waiting for the world to validate your assumptions and start trusting that the world is simply giving you exactly what you've assumed to be true all along. The shift happens when you stop doubting your worth, stop questioning whether success or abundance is meant for you, and simply know that it already is. Once you do this, life begins to rearrange itself in ways you never expected, delivering back to you exactly what you've been silently assuming. Imagine waking up tomorrow, and everything you've ever wanted is already yours. What would you do? How would you walk through the world? Most people wait for life to change before they change their inner state, but here's the truth. The moment you begin to act as if what you desire is already real, the world around you begins to reflect it back. It's not about pretending or hoping. Acting as if means truly stepping into the feeling of already having what you want. The assumption is everything. When you embody the mindset of success, abundance, or fulfillment, the universe has no option but to mirror that back to you. Life doesn't question what you believe. Your assumptions shape your reality, and everything you see is simply a reflection of those inner beliefs. The act of acting as if isn't just about repeating words or saying affirmations, it's about feeling the truth of your desires deep inside. When you assume that success, love, or wealth is already yours, you stop waiting for life to hand it to you. You don't chase it because you are already aligned with it. Every choice you make, every step you take, is rooted in the knowing that it's already done. The world responds to that certainty with opportunities, people, and situations that align with your assumed reality. You don't need to see evidence to believe. In fact, waiting for proof before you change your internal state keeps you stuck. Life operates in reverse. When you believe it, you will see it. The key to unlocking everything you desire is to live as though it's already here. This isn't about denying reality. It's about recognizing that the external world is simply an echo of your inner belief. When you change the cause, the belief, the effect, or the world around you must change to reflect that shift. This shift isn't always immediate, but don't mistake a delay for denial. It's simply the time it takes for your inner transformation to manifest in the outer world. The real power lies in maintaining the inner state of fulfillment, even when the world doesn't immediately reflect it. Your inner peace, confidence, and clarity are the powerful forces that shape your life. The more you align with your desired state, the more life rearranges itself to match it. Remember, the world isn't withholding from you. It's waiting for your instruction. So, choose your inner assumptions wisely, and watch as life has no option but to deliver. You are not your actions. Your actions are simply the outward expression of who you believe you are. This is the secret to unlocking the life you want, not through willpower or constant struggle, but by shifting the very identity you hold within. It's a subtle yet powerful shift that turns everything around. When you change your identity, your behavior follows suit without effort. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever wondered why certain people seem to effortlessly attract opportunities, success, or happiness, while others struggle endlessly to make progress? It's not about luck or external circumstances, it's about who they've decided to be. When you assume the identity of someone successful, abundant, or confident, your actions will automatically align with that assumption. You stop chasing after results because your behavior naturally reflects your new internal truth. This isn't about pretending to be someone you're not. It's about recognizing the version of yourself that already exists in the world you want to create. You don't have to force anything. The power lies in assuming the identity of the person who already has what you desire. For instance, if you want to be financially successful, start by thinking, feeling, and acting like someone who already is. The moment you make that inner shift, you'll notice your actions and decisions change. You'll no longer need to try to make things happen, they will happen naturally, because your behavior is now aligned with the identity you've adopted. When you identify with something, your actions reflect it. If you see yourself as a person who is always overwhelmed or unlucky, your actions will mirror that belief. But when you start seeing yourself as capable, confident, and deserving, your choices, reactions, and even how you carry yourself in everyday situations will reflect that. It's about stepping into the truth of who you are, not who you think you should be. This inner shift creates a new foundation for your actions. The more you embody this new identity, the more the world responds to you in kind. Opportunities that once seemed out of reach suddenly appear. People treat you with respect because your actions demand it. Your life becomes a reflection of your inner identity, and not the other way around. The most powerful part? This shift is not an overnight change, but a steady, consistent decision. Each time you choose to act from your new identity, you reinforce it, and before long, the person you were pretending to be becomes the person you are. Life begins to align with your new internal truth, and everything that seemed difficult before becomes effortless. What if I told you that the world you experience is simply a mirror of what you believe? It sounds radical, but it's the truth. Most people wait for external evidence to show them that their beliefs are true. They say, "I'll believe it when I see it." But life works in the opposite way. It's when you believe it that you'll finally see it. You've been conditioned to think that belief follows evidence, but in reality, it's the other way around. Evidence only appears after you firmly believe in something. Think about the times when things fell into place effortlessly. You weren't struggling, you weren't waiting for signs. You just knew. You felt it deeply inside, and that certainty opened the doors. This is the power of belief before evidence. Most people get caught in a loop of waiting for proof. They want to see things change before they change their mindset, but that's backward. You must first decide, in the deepest part of your being, that what you desire is already yours. When you shift your belief, even before the world shows you evidence, life begins to rearrange itself in response. It's as if the universe is simply waiting for your permission to deliver. You may think, but I need to see results before I can fully believe. That's the trap. The moment you rely on external results to dictate your belief, you're giving up your power. You're telling life, I will believe in abundance only when I see it. But this is exactly what keeps abundance at a distance. The true power lies in believing without needing to see the evidence first. When you believe, something incredible happens. Your perception shifts. Opportunities that were once hidden begin to emerge. People and situations that align with your belief will start to appear. It's not magic. It's the natural response of life to the energy you're putting out. The more you believe in your success, in your worth, or in your happiness, the more the world reflects those truths back to you. This isn't about blind faith or wishful thinking. It's about making a conscious choice to accept a new belief about yourself and your life, regardless of external circumstances. When you truly adopt this mindset, everything you once thought was out of reach becomes a natural consequence of your belief. You stop waiting for the world to give you permission and start acting from a place of certainty. What if I told you that doubt and fear are simply the result of not being fully convinced of your own power? The moment you stand firm in your belief, these two forces lose their grip on you. Fear thrives on uncertainty. It feeds on the idea that you might not get what you want, that things might not go your way. But when you choose certainty, when you settle into the belief that what you desire is already yours, fear no longer has a reason to exist. Consider this. The very act of doubting is an acknowledgement that you're not yet sure of the outcome. But imagine if you could change that internal dialogue, if you could adopt the certainty that success is already unfolding, that the outcome is inevitable. Suddenly, doubt doesn't stand a chance. It fades into the background, powerless against the weight of your unwavering belief. Fear, too, dissolves in the face of certainty. Fear is the voice that whispers, "What if this doesn't work out? What if I fail?" But when you shift to a state of knowing, when you decide that the desired outcome is as good as done, fear loses its grip. It's like trying to hold onto something when it's no longer there. The fear of failure fades because you've already accepted success as your reality. Now, this doesn't mean you won't feel sensations of doubt or fear from time to time. Those feelings may still rise, but they no longer control you. You've already made the decision, inwardly, that your success is a matter of when, not if. And when you truly believe this, the external world begins to reflect it. Think about moments in your life when things went effortlessly. You didn't worry about the outcome, you just knew it would work. You didn't force things to happen, you allowed them to unfold naturally. That's the power of certainty. It removes the need to control everything because you trust that things are working in your favor, even if you can't yet see all the steps. Certainty isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that your internal state, your assumptions, are the ultimate creator of your external world. When you settle into the feeling of already having what you want, fear and doubt simply can't compete. They wither away because they no longer have a place in your reality. What's left is your natural alignment with the success you've already claimed. The truth is, most of us are consumed by the circumstances around us. We believe the outside world defines us, shapes our future, and limits our potential. But what if I told you that these circumstances are not your reality? They are merely temporary shadows. Shadows that lose their power the moment you stop giving them your attention. Imagine a storm passing through. It can seem overwhelming, loud, and chaotic, but in reality, it's just a fleeting moment in time. Yet, how often do we allow these temporary storms to dictate the direction of our lives? The key to understanding life's flow is realizing that what seems permanent is actually transient. No situation, no matter how intense or overwhelming, will last forever. It's just a shadow cast on your path. The mistake most people make is to react to these shadows as if they define who they are. We let our current circumstances tell us who we are, what we're worth, and whether or not we can succeed. But here's the truth. Life doesn't need you to react to your circumstances. Life is waiting for you to act from a place of certainty, regardless of what's happening around you. These shadows, the lack, the delays, the challenges, are only reflections of an inner assumption. When you choose to let them go, to stop seeing them as obstacles, you begin to step into a new space, one where the world mirrors back the certainty you've chosen to embody. The moment you stop giving energy to these shadows, they dissolve, and what once seemed like an insurmountable wall becomes nothing more than a passing cloud. It's not about ignoring reality or pretending the challenges don't exist. It's about choosing how you respond. The storm, the delay, the rejection, they may appear real, but they are just temporary. The deeper truth is that you have the power to redefine what's happening. When you live from the end, from the certainty of already having what you want, you stop seeing your circumstances as permanent. Instead, they become stepping stones to a new reality. So, what do you do when the shadows loom large? You remember they are not the truth of who you are. They are simply temporary. The real power lies in your ability to stand firm in your assumption of success, abundance, and fulfillment. You are not bound by what you see right now. You are free to choose the inner state that will transform your world. You have always had the pen in your hand, even if you didn't realize it. Every moment, every decision, every thought is an opportunity to write the next chapter of your life. The question isn't whether you have control over your story, it's whether you are choosing to take ownership of it. Are you reacting to life, or are you directing it with intention? Think about the stories you've told yourself up until now. The narrative you believe about who you are, what you deserve, and what you're capable of, it's all come from somewhere. It's either been shaped by your past experiences, or it's been handed to you by the world around you. But here's the truth. None of that has to define you. The real power lies in what you choose to believe in the present moment. Every assumption you carry about yourself, every belief about what's possible or impossible, is part of the story you are writing. If you think of yourself as powerless, life will reflect that back to you. If you believe that success is rare and only for a few, your actions will align with that. But when you take the reins of your own narrative, everything changes. You become the one who writes the plot, creates the characters, and sets the stage for what happens next. It's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for life to give us permission, waiting for the world to confirm that we are worthy of success, love, or happiness. But that's not how it works. The true power comes when you decide, right now, that you are the author of your own life. You write the script, and the world follows suit. The moment you stop looking for approval from outside forces and start writing from within, you begin to unlock a new kind of freedom. The key here is to understand that the stories you tell yourself are the foundation of everything that shows up in your life. If you assume something, life has no choice but to deliver it. But it starts with you. You must take responsibility for your own narrative. Stop blaming circumstances or other people for where you are. You are the one who chooses what you believe, and that belief shapes everything around you. Once you realize you are the author, the next step is to live from that truth every day. Don't wait for things to happen before you take action. Start living as if the story you desire is already unfolding. Embrace the role of the main character, not a passive observer, and watch how the world starts to reflect your inner confidence and clarity. You are not waiting for life to change, you are creating the change from within. What if I told you that creation isn't something you have to force? What if, instead of struggling, everything you desire could unfold naturally? The truth is, when you align deeply with the feeling of already having what you want, creation becomes inevitable. The key is not in pushing harder, but in becoming the person who already has. It's easy to get caught in the trap of believing that your goals are out of reach, or that you need to do more, try harder, or wait for the right circumstances. But that's the old way of thinking. What if, instead of trying to force things into existence, you shifted your mindset to one where the outcome was already guaranteed? When you live in the assumption that you have already succeeded, the world around you must reflect that back. It doesn't require extra effort, it requires alignment. Think about a time when things just seemed to flow effortlessly. You didn't struggle or worry, you knew it would happen. In those moments, you were simply in alignment with the natural order of life, and everything fell into place. When you live from the end, assuming your desires are already fulfilled, you stop chasing after them. You begin to move through the world with ease, and life adjusts to meet you where you are. This shift in perspective is profound. When you act as if, you don't need to force or push. The struggle fades because you've already moved into the reality where your desires exist. The inner certainty you carry becomes the force that shapes your external world. Life responds to what you truly believe, and once you believe in your fulfillment, everything aligns. Creation isn't about waiting for the right moment or for everything to line up perfectly. It's about living in the certainty that the moment has already arrived. Once you stop doubting and start assuming, creation happens naturally. The opportunities appear, the connections form, and everything you've imagined begins to take shape in ways you couldn't predict. When you consistently assume the feeling of already having what you desire, you align yourself with a reality where that desire is already part of your experience. The law of creation doesn't need your effort, it simply needs your consistent assumption. And once you've truly assumed that reality, life has no choice but to deliver. Creation is not a struggle, it's a natural consequence of living as the person who already has. The power to shape your life is already within you. It's not in waiting for the perfect circumstances, nor in forcing things into existence. The moment you fully embrace the truth that you are already living the life you desire, everything begins to shift. The world doesn't need to change first, you do. And once you change from within, life has no choice but to follow suit. This isn't about wishing or hoping. It's about standing in the certainty of who you already are and what you already possess. When you stop looking for validation from the outside world and begin to act from a place of already having what you want, you tap into a power that is beyond anything external. Life mirrors your inner state. When you live in the assumption that you are already whole, already successful, already loved, the world must reflect that truth back to you. Understand this. You are not a victim of circumstances. You are the creator of your reality. Your inner state, your assumptions, and your beliefs are the forces that shape your experience. Once you align with the person who already has, you step into a world where creation becomes inevitable. The law of the universe is simple. When you are clear, consistent, and certain, life cannot do anything but deliver. So stop waiting for life to change. Change your inner world, and watch as the outer world rearranges itself to match. You are not here to struggle for what you want. You are here to create it effortlessly. And when you live from that place, creation becomes not just possible, it becomes inevitable.